Is altcoin season now officially over? We have just seen horrible increases in the US government bond yields. People are getting very spooked in this market. Japan has just come out with some worrying data. Bitcoin inflecting down, the dominance going back up. Is it over for our altcoins? Is this cycle done? I'm going to break down my thoughts in this video. If you like this type of content, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. Let's get straight into this one because we've got a lot to unpack. I'm going to start off with Bitcoin dominance starting to inflect back up after a nice period of respite where we saw some fun on altcoins, right? We saw Ethereum getting to that 2,700 level, many of the altcoins starting to benefit, only to now, over the last since Wednesday last week, see that dominance start to climb again. And today is another day where Bitcoin is down close to 3% and many altcoins are suffering. The sentiment out there is pretty bad right now, and it has a reason to be. Now, before I get into that, it's very important to understand that, the sentiment online and in the Telegram communities and on X, if you're not following, please follow me as well, is really kind of negative, right? They're slamming their tokens, whether it's Sonic, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's any of these other altcoins, they're slamming the projects. The reality is, like we're going to unpack in this video, this is far bigger than crypto, right? This is far bigger than crypto. There's some major things going on, some major rumblings affecting the global economy, which could now start to come past, and that's going to cause us some problems. So if you're sitting there going, oh my God, my project is so rubbish, more marketing, right? This is not the time for that. This market is not moving because of bigger things. I'm going to kick off by looking at the US 30-year treasury. This is the price you get paid to lend the US government money for 30 years, the 30-year government bond. What happened over the last few days is we saw that Moodys downgraded the US credit rating, okay? Basically, there's three key people that rate these government bonds, okay? You got S&P, you got Moodys, and you got Fitch, okay? S&P and Fitch had already downgraded the US many years ago. It's done, right? This is the first time that Moodys has ever done it, okay? And so this is now starting to worry markets. It basically means that they're not as credit worthy as they previously were. Think about it as a credit score, like how you and I would have a credit score. So now this yield has spiked up, hitting as high as above 5% today. Okay, now if we go back to try to see when were we last at these levels, you are going back to April 2007. If anybody's familiar with this, some of you may be too young, we then headed into a financial crisis, okay? Now, I'm not here to spook people. I'm not calling for the next financial crisis. That's not what I'm doing here, but I just wanted to give a little bit of context around that. Dow Jones pretty much flat. I mean, did fall 200 points. It started recovering it after the initial open. S&P is fairly flat right now, and the NASDAQ is fairly flat as well. So if we take a look at that on the chart, it opened up in the red, right? It was quite painful, quite a big fall here on the S&P. I mean, you were down as much as 1.3%, but it started to recover that over the last few hours. So the question on everybody's mind is altcoin season done? And my take on it is no. I think this could be our final call to get into the markets. If we take a look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin had its move down here to the downside. We then bounced, right? But look at the weekly candles. Both these weekly candles have had levels higher. The candle bodies are higher than the previous time we came to these highs. So this is progress. On the bounce, we've made progress. We've technically got a slight higher high on the candle closes. What I'd like to see is a candle touching above on the all-time high, right? The all-time high was 109.3, $109,300 odd dollars. I would have liked to see us touch higher, but it looks like we don't have the energy right now. So the question is going to be, where does Bitcoin want to come down for support? And ideally, you don't want it to come all the way back down here, all right? Then you risk making an M pattern. We don't want to risk a big double top M pattern which throws us back down to horrible price targets. We want to see it cool off a little bit and collect some support. Ideally 100,000, right? Nice psychological support. There is price support here. If you go down to the daily chart, you can see there is, meaningful support around that kind of 100K region. If that holds, very, very nice. That's also where the daily EMA ribbon is, right? So this would be a really nice scenario for Bitcoin. Come to this level, go mount a nice bigger attack to finally clear through the all-time high and break through it meaningfully, because it looks like we're just a little bit exhausted here. Okay, so that's one thing I'm looking for, is this may be our final chance, because as Bitcoin heads in this direction, whether it's 100, whether it's a little bit lower, altcoins are going to suffer a bit more. You're going to get a bit more bleeding on altcoins, because look, Bitcoin's at 103 right now, and yet people are panicking. Altcoins are panicking. People are worried. They're upset. The sentiment is negative. So you can imagine if Bitcoin falls to 100, things will get pretty painful. If we fall down to 95, which would still hold the EMA ribbon, incidentally, the market's going to be upset, right? And then if I zoom up to the weekly chart, I mean, God forbid if we, want to come and retest our EMA ribbon here on the weekly at 92, or even further down, coming down to 80 or even 84, 85, people are going to panic, right? Altcoins will get wrecked if Bitcoin wants to come down into this region. But for me, I'd love to buy some more. Just like we were buying more here, and I made videos that I'm buying, and then a couple of weeks later, you're enjoying the pump. I'd take another nibble here, right? I'd be buying more from support. Am I chasing up here? No, it's overextended. If it comes down here, I will buy. And it's the same structure I'm using for altcoins, right? I'm not going necessarily into the individual altcoin patterns because they're kind of irrelevant now. Yes, I monitor them, but they're kind of irrelevant right now. They're going to move based on the market. Bitcoin is moving on the traditional markets, and altcoins are moving based on Bitcoin. Okay, very simple. So if this pulls back down into some of these areas, I will nibble on Bitcoin and I will nibble on my favorite altcoins. And I think that could be a really nice chance for us to get a final cheeky buy on Bitcoin. The fact of the matter is, I expect this to bounce. I expect it to come down, collect some support, and I can see us having a powerful end to the year. Right now, it's just a period of turmoil. But if you look at markets in the past, we've always managed to navigate these, right? Yes, people will put up the article of Japan and, their 40-year bond hitting a 20-year high and everybody should be worried. And, the US 10-year and the US 30-year bond yields, which I just shared with you as well. I know, it's not great. But the fact of the matter is, what is it the US always does? What is it that central banks always do, full stop? They print. They devalue fiat currency, which is why we're here in the first place, buying Bitcoin, buying crypto, getting out of fiat currency, because we understand how the traditional market works. All they do is whenever they're in any difficulty, they print more money. They're not going to default. Do you think the US is going to default just because they're, Moody's put their credit rating down? Oh, no. If they're struggling, they'll print some more because they're the world's reserve currency and they have the prerogative to do exactly that. Print it, deflate your earnings, deflate your life savings in the bank, make that worth less due to inflation, and they get themselves out of a pickle every single time. So I'm not concerned. These kind of things blow over. More important for us is relax, right? Relax. Unless there's something specific going on with your project, like something's happened, they got hacked, or there's some change in the project or the team or whatever, you don't like it, then at that point you can decide to sell. But if you're selling your crypto now because you're worried about the global economy, I mean, you're asking for trouble here. For me, I'm just waiting for pullbacks, and on those pullbacks, I'll be ready to buy, and I'll look forward to a stronger later half of this year. I mean, half one of this year is pretty much done. It's been a write-off, but had you been smart, you buying nibbles, right? You bought when Bitcoin was coming down to that most obvious retest at 74, which we called for many, many months. And again, maybe we need to come back again, collect some support. Maybe it wants to form a triangle, right? This is a weekly chart, but maybe it wants to form a very long triangle like this, and then we can break to the upside of that triangle. That would be a nice continuation pattern for a bigger move to the upside, and that will provide us, maybe weeks or months here. Remember, it's a 90-day pause on the tariff drama. This could be a couple of months of boring sideways whipsawing action. And in that meantime, who makes money? Traders, right? So you can learn to trade. Come join me in the Telegram. While the market is sideways, you have crazy volatility. Look at market makers taking this leverage in the market, swinging the price up, taking liquidity, swinging the price down, taking liquidity. I mean, just the last 24 hours saw close to 700 million. That's almost $750 million just snapped out of the market, taken out of your wallet by market makers. You can't tell me there's not money to be had in this market. You're just doing the wrong thing. Your spot bag should be very, very simple. You buy from positions of strength and you hold it and you almost forget it exists. But you need something a little bit more short term. Is that trading? How are you going to trade? Have you learned how to day trade? Have you learned to do that in a smart way that doesn't get you wrecked by these market makers? You can learn it. It doesn't take you that long. I'll help you guys as well. If you actively want to trade with me, jump in the Telegram group, link link is in the description. Hopefully that gives you some perspective on when the market is. I'm not worried whatsoever. Yes, it can get worse. Yes, there can be more economic murmurings and Trump will be worried by this, US 30-year government rate. It's going to bother him. It will bother him because the cost of borrowing is going to go up. But at the end of the day, we know that's the case. As crypto people, we know that this is the cycle. This is the reason we're in crypto in the first place, is they always devalue currencies. So for us, not a reason to panic, more of a reason to be even more confident in your favorite crypto plays. Wait for those opportunities, and I'll be looking to buy the dip on some of those. For those frustrated about altcoins, I know it's frustrating, but the frustration is where money is made. Remember, you only need the price of your altcoins to go exponentially high once. All the other time that the price is really, really low is an opportunity for you to buy the dip. In fact, I'm going to link up a video here where I get a whiteboard out and I actually explain that concept. Hopefully you guys find that useful. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to smash some likes. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.